The Lost Kitten. Once upon a time, in a small village, there lived a little kitten named Mittens. Mittens was a curious kitten who loved to explore the world around her. One day, while playing outside, she wandered off too far and found herself lost. Mittens meowed and meowed, hoping someone would hear her and come to her rescue. But the village was quiet, and no one seemed to be around. As the sun began to set, Mittens started to feel scared and lonely. Just when she thought she would never find her way back home, she saw a small mouse scurrying by. Mittens didn't like mice, but she was so desperate for help that she asked the mouse if she knew the way back to the village. The mouse, whose name was Squeaky, knew the village well and offered to show Mittens the way back. They set off together, with Mittens following closely behind. As they walked, Squeaky chatted away, telling Mittens all about the village and the different animals that lived there. Mittens listened intently, grateful for the company and the distraction from her fear. Finally, after what felt like hours of walking, they reached the edge of the village. Mittens recognized her house and let out a happy meow. Squeaky smiled and wished her well before scampering off into the night. Mittens ran up to her front door and meowed loudly. To her relief, her owner heard her and opened the door. Mittens ran inside, happy to be home safe and sound. From that day on, Mittens never wandered too far from home again. But she always remembered Squeaky the mouse, who had helped her find her way back to where she belonged. Mittens was so grateful to Squeaky that she decided to make a new friend. She asked her owner if she could keep a mouse as a pet. At first, her owner was hesitant, but Mittens promised to take good care of her new friend. So, they went to the pet store and found a tiny gray mouse that Mittens named Squishy. Squishy was a little nervous at first, but soon she and Mittens became best friends. They played together, cuddled up for naps, and even shared snacks. Mittens and Squishy's friendship was an unlikely one, but they didn't care. They were just happy to have found each other. Mittens even taught Squishy how to meow, and Squishy taught Mittens how to squeak. Years went by, and Mittens and Squishy grew old together. They may have been different animals, but they were inseparable. Even when Mittens passed away, Squishy stayed by her side until the very end. From then on, Squishy lived out the rest of her days in the loving care of Mittens' owner. Every time the owner saw Squishy, she couldn't help but think of the unlikely friendship that had blossomed between a lost kitten and a tiny mouse.